The number ending 73 Santana?
No, that's Santana, I don't know, Commissioner Santana?
Yes, hello.
Yes, hi, okay.
We're live, Madam Chairwoman.
Okay, I'm gonna ask everyone then, okay, to please rise for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Okay, Commissioners, Planning Board staff, ladies and gentlemen, as Chairwoman of the City of Paterson's Planning Board, I call this meeting of 6/17/2021 to order. I hereby state that all the provisions of the State of New Jersey Public Meeting Law have been fully and completely met, that the notice of provisions required have been properly posted in the Planning Board office and with the City of Paterson clerk, that the public notice and advertisements have been published in the Herald News on 6/14/21 in accordance with the law, and that the copies of such notice and public advertisements are on file in the Planning Board office, as is also the agenda listing the applications to be taken up by the Planning Board at this meeting. The procedure tonight will be in accordance with the rules, regulations, and bylaws as heretofore determined by the Planning Board at its office in the municipal complex in the City of Paterson. Roll call, please. Mr. Acquaviva.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. Commissioner Ahmed?
Present.
Commissioner Brooks? Commissioner Brooks?
Present.
Thank you. Commissioner Ceballos? Commissioner Ceballos?
Commissioner Ceballos?
Present.
Commissioner Cleaves is absent. Commissioner Figueroa?
Present.
Commissioner Issa?
Present.
Commissioner Santana?
Present.
Commissioner Udine?
Present.
Councilman Kalik? Councilman Kalik? Councilman Kalik is absent. Vice Chairman Fisher? Vice Chairman Fisher? Vice Chairman Fisher is absent, and Chairwoman Northbrook.
Present.
Chairwoman, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It looks like we have 8 commissioners.
Okay, before I go on with the notice pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, I want to say something about our board secretary, Maggie Vega. She has been absent, as all of the commissioners are aware. She had to go to the hospital, and to be honest with you, thank God she is on the road to recovery. And we all miss her greatly. So I just want to say I'm very happy to hear. I spoke with her husband, and he tells me that, she's coming along, and she's making great progress. So with that, we wish her a speedy recovery. We look forward to seeing her back here. Okay, so with that being said, I'm going to go on to the notice pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act addressing effective coronavirus measures on the next public meeting. Consistent with the coronavirus-related restrictions of Executive Order Number 107 given on Saturday, March 21st, 2020 by Governor Philip D. Murphy, the Planning Board of the City of Paterson will not conduct in-person participation of the public at all future meetings until further notice. However, public participation will be available by means of communication equipment pursuant to NJSA 10:4-8, commencing on April 15th, 2020. Though there may potentially be a practical need for a limited number of administrative, technical, or other city personnel to be present in or near the council chambers, 3rd floor, City Hall, 155 Market Street, Paterson, New Jersey, in-person participation of the public is prohibited. Nevertheless, for reasons of compliance with the said Executive Order Number 107, Public participation will be available by calling 1-973-321-1579, 973-321-1579. And the meeting ID is 711-680-001. On the date and time that this meeting is scheduled to commence. The public may also participate in the meeting by accessing the website of the City of Paterson, www.patersonnj.gov, and following the email link for the meeting, www.patersonnj.gov Planning Board. And with that this evening, I'm going to turn this over. Mr. Maricondo, are you representing the applicant, I believe? Mr. George, are we going to begin tonight with the East 19th Street?
Yes, Madam Chairwoman.
Okay, thank you.
For the record, I'm here, Alan Maricondo, on behalf of the applicant.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so Mr. Deutsch, would you give us your review, please?
Yes, Madam Chairwoman. Yeah, okay, should I read the proposal?
No, you know what? Let me read it real quick. The applicant proposes to construct a 3-story, 3-unit residential building on a 3,200 square foot vacant lot. The proposed first floor indicates a 2-car tandem garage, recycling bins, a laundry, a mechanical closet, and a 612 square foot 1-bedroom unit. The second floor proposes a 1,110 square foot 3-bedroom unit, and the third floor also proposes a 1,110 square foot 3-bedroom unit. Variances are requested for lot area 5,000 square feet is required and 3,200 square feet is existing. Lot width as a 50-foot lot width is required and a 32-foot lot width is existing. Minimum front yard setback of 20 feet is required and a setback of 10 feet is proposed. A minimum rear yard setback of 25 feet is required and a rear yard setback of 20 feet is proposed. And parking, 6 off-street parking spaces are required and 4 are proposed. The planning board must also review the applicant's determination that the previous deed restriction on the parcel is non-binding as to the present application. This proposal is located with the R3 high-density residential district, high-medium density. Okay, so with that, I will ask, this requires site plan approval and bulk variances, so I will ask Michael Deutsch to give us his review. Thank you.
Thank you. Property taxes are current. There are no sewer charges due on vacant land. Sadi Alimi, providing an address of 837 Wyckoff Avenue, Suite 231, Wyckoff, New Jersey, is the sole stockholder of 340-342 East 19th Street, LLC. As indicated on the survey prepared by GB Engineering and revised in January 6, 2021, the parcel is frontage of 32 feet along East 19th Street, a rear lot line that also measures 32 feet, a southern side lot line that measures 100 feet, and a northern side lot line that measures 100 feet. Parcel has a lot area of 3,200 square feet. The site is located 30.72 feet north of the intersection of 8th Avenue and East 19th Street. 2-story residential structures exist both to the south and north of this proposal. The survey also indicates that the lot is paved with brick, other pavers, and macadam. An L-shaped woodshed exists on the southwest corner of the parcel. A chain link fence and aluminum gate surround the parcel, which is accessed by an existing 18-foot drop curb. Evans Architect has prepared a 2-page site plan dated February 3rd, 2021. Sheet number A1 indicates the site plan, the zoning ordinance data, the site location plan, and the 3 floor plans. Site plan indicates that a proposed 3-family, 3-story dwelling is proposed 10 feet from the front property line, 25 feet from the rear property line, 3 feet and 1 inch from the northerly property line, and 9 feet and 9 inches from the southern property line. 2 vehicles are proposed to be parked between the southern side property line and the proposed dwelling. A new 18-foot curb cut is proposed on East 19th Street. The R3 high-medium density residential district permits 3-family dwellings. Each dwelling unit must have 1,650 square feet of lot area. The applicant's proposal for a 3-family dwelling requires 3 times 1,650 square feet or 4,950 square feet of lot area. As the lot has 3,200 square feet of lot area, a variance is requested. The proposed first floor plan indicates an exterior refuse area to be placed in a room located under the exterior masonry staircase. A two-car tandem garage is proposed with an access door to an interior hallway that leads to either a staircase to the upper floors or a door that leads to a 612 square foot one-bedroom unit that includes a laundry, mechanical units, a kitchen, a living and dining room, and a full bathroom. The second floor plan indicates a three-bedroom unit of 1,110 square feet that includes a living room, a dining room, a kitchen, a laundry room, and two full bathrooms. The third floor three-bedroom unit of 1,110 square feet is identical in layout to the second floor plan. All of the units meet or exceed the minimum square footage requirements for apartment type. Sheet number A2 is the building elevations. The front elevation indicates the first floor garage door and masonry steps leading to the two front doors. Bay windows are indicated on both the second and third floors, and a single window is placed in the stairwell. The building has a decorative gable vent with an A-frame roof, and building materials include brick veneer. The rear elevation indicates double windows on all three floors. The right side elevation indicates the masonry front staircase, a window on the first floor, and three single windows on the second and third floors. The second and third floors have a vinyl siding. The left side elevation indicates four windows on the first floor and three single windows on the second and third floors. The second and third floors are to be vinyl sided also. Building has a top height of 35 feet. In addition to the lot area variance, new variances are requested for lot width. 50 feet of lot width is required and 32 feet of lot width exists. A minimum front yard setback of 20 feet is required and 10 feet is proposed. A total of 6 off-street parking spaces are required based on 1.8 parking spaces for the one-bedroom unit and 2.1 parking spaces for each of the two three-bedroom units. The applicant proposes 4 off-street parking spaces, 2 in a tandem arrangement within the first floor garage and 2 on the southern side of the dwelling beyond the front yard setback. At a meeting held on July 27, 2006, the Zoning Board of Adjustment granted conditional approval to a minor subdivision that created Lot 24 from the adjacent property to the south, now known as Block 2702, Lot 24.01. A restriction on Lot 24 limited new construction to a one-unit dwelling in perpetuity. A letter dated May 11, 2021 from Alan Mariconda. Mr. Mariconda states that the past approval from the zoning board limited the development of this site to a one-family dwelling if the applicant proceeded to construct on this site. Mr. Mariconda states that the approval was never acted upon and no building permits were obtained, nor were any final construction plans submitted for zoning or engineering review. It is the applicant's and Mr. Mariconda's position that this 2006 approval has lapsed pursuant to the Municipal Land Use Act and local requirements. As such, the applicant concludes that any conditions of said building approval would therefore become non-binding by operation of law. The present application presents a new development proposal on a freestanding parcel and seeks approval for a permitted use in the R3 zone and should proceed on the merits before the planning board according to the applicant, Mr. Mariconda's May 11, 2021 letter. It shall be the responsibility of the applicant and or the preparer of the plan to obtain a letter from the city engineer indicating the plans have been satisfactorily reviewed prior to the plans being released to the construction official. Surrounding land uses. This proposal is in the 10th Avenue section of the city. The area is primarily residential with 2.5-story, 2 or 3 unit dwellings on lot sizes ranging mainly from 2,500 square feet to 5,000 square feet. Most of the structures are older and built up to the right-of-way line. Many structures are set back 10 feet from the front property line. In conclusion, the applicant estimates the approximate cost of this proposal at $250,000. That is your staff review for this proposal, Madam Chairwoman.
Thank you, Mr. Deutsch. Mr. Mariconda?
Yes, good evening, Madam Chair, and good evening, Commissioners. Again, thank you for hearing us. We will be proceeding with 2 witnesses this evening. Mr. Evans as our architect planner, as well as Mr. Alimi as the principal of the applicant. We essentially agreed with Mr. Deutsch's report. I will highlight, whenever the chair and council deem appropriate for me to do so, the comments which Mr. Deutsch referred to from my May 11th letter. And I would also buttress those comments by referring to the Municipal Land Use Act and the zoning law under the what's commonly known as the Cox Book of Zoning, whereby it's clearly cited in that book and in recitation from case law that there are any condition of a prior board, such as the restriction as to a one family, may be changed due to changed circumstances as deemed to be revealed as unnecessary or more reasonable to make that change. So I have a couple of cases which I can refer Mr. Aquaviva to in that regard. I can do that at a later point, I think, in our hearing. And we would ask the board to consider that as one of the elements of an approval. If the board deems this application for approval, that we'd be permitted to have that restriction excised. That's the term that the municipal land use law talks about, having that restriction eliminated by excising it from the deed. So with that legal background being stated, I'm going to go into Mr. Evans' testimony, if I may.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear affirm testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Please state your full name for the record.
Matthew Evans, architect planner, 470 Chamberlain Ave, Paterson, New Jersey.
Okay, Matt, I just want to ask you if you could speak up, because you seem like you're so far away from the microphone, so please speak up.
Okay, got it?
Yes,
Yeah, thank you.
just state you're Matt Evans and just state a few more things that we put it on the record, and then that's.
All right, Matthew Evans, architect planner, 470 Chamberlain Ave. I'm presently licensed in the state of New Jersey as a professional planner.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, we accept him as an expert witness. Okay, please proceed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Evans, you had the occasion to prepare the site plan in connection with this application?
Yes, I'd like to post that if we...
Yes, please.
Okay, second. Okay, so we have, basically we have a two-sheet submission showing, as Ms. Deutsch, spelled out, we have the site plan, floor plans, and elevations. We are seeking to, develop this lot as a, two-family, with 4 parking spaces. And, it's basically a floor lots, usually on a 25 by 100, but with the addition of the 7 feet, we're able to park 2 additional cars on the side of the building. So we get 4 parking spaces, and it's a 3-story, 2-family. As I mentioned, we have 2-car parking in the
Matt, please speak up a little more. It's very difficult to hear you. Melinda, are you having a problem?
Yeah, I'm struggling to hear him.
Yeah, we're all struggling, so you gotta speak up, please.
All right. Let's move up.
Maybe you need to move up, yeah.
Yeah, I'll move up. I'm way in the back. What's that?
Yes.
Okay, hold on. All right, so I'm having a little difficulty posting this right now. Do you have the plan there for the rest of the... So as I mentioned, it's a standard 2-family, 2-car garage, and we would be proposing. Give me a second.
What happened to the plans?
Oh Oh, yeah, all right, I'm gonna post it in a second.
He's having some difficulty, but we're working on it.
Okay,
So we have, we have the unit, we have the two-car garage and the, first floor unit. Oh, it's not posted, right? Hold on.
no, it's not posted.
Give me a second, I usually.
It was there and then it's
I
gone.
know, I'm getting it.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go.
So we have the lower unit, we have the, and the, upper units, unit A and B are identical. And they would be 3-bedroom units, 2-bathroom, we have laundry for the units, and all separate mechanicals. We have, the elevations, so you've seen this probably in many other locations. And, basically we have a double gable with a bay window in the front, 2 entrances, and also, different mix of materials. We have stone, brick, and stucco, and siding. The side and rear are a little bit, less detailed, and that's basically, the architectural.
Okay, so with respect to, the variances that are created in this site, could you give us a summary if you would?
Okay. So we have 5,000 is the minimum, we have 3,200 square feet, that's a pre-existing non-conforming condition, site, lot width and, area, so we have 50 is required, we have 32. The front yard setback, is 20, but there's an allowance, of up to 10 feet, based on the consistency of the other neighboring, buildings. But we haven't, done a survey of it, so we have, we're seeking a variance for that, based on that condition. Then there's the parking where 6 are required. We have, 2 in the garage, 2 in the side yard, so we meet, 2/3 of that requirement, with parking in and out.
And even with respect to all the other setback variances for side yard, building height, number of stories, coverage, we're in full compliance.
Right, so if you pictured a 50 by 100 lot with a similar construction, you know, we still meet those, setbacks even with that reduced, 18 feet.
Right. So again, we're gonna be in conformity with building height, conformity with number of stories. In fact, even building coverage is correct, is exactly on point.
Yes, so we're good with that, and also the side setbacks meet the ordinance.
Right. And again, even our floor area ratio is below the requirement, so there's no density issue, anything of that nature. Correct? And so we're really looking at a lot that, although less than the 5,000 standard lot, creates no new variances in terms of our construction. We have an existing conditions on lot area and lot width, except for our 2 parking space variance.
Right.
Okay, very good. With regard to the surrounding area map, could you give us somewhat of an overview about this R3 zone? The R3 zone, as Michael points out, allows this use?
Yes,
Okay.
it's permitted use, and that's why we're here. Across the street, directly across from this property, there's a 4-family. There's multiple medium density structures in the area. There's garden apartments on the avenue, and also multiple 2-families and multi-family buildings.
So in effect, the 1-family on this site would be completely out of character?
Yes.
Okay. And with regard to this area, as time has passed, other development in the area has been primarily multifamily, in your opinion?
Yes, it's all being redeveloped into multifamily.
And from a comparison perspective, having 4 parking spaces on a site of this size, how do you characterize that?
Well,
Good, bad, or indifferent? Or,
yeah, 4 is usual on a 50 by 100, so we were able to manage 4 with a smaller building,
Right.
that's how we got it, we put the smaller building on it, and, we achieved the parking, as best we could, and, also with the building.
And also you've been able to meet the open space requirement too, at 850 square feet.
Yes,
So there is obviously a passive recreational area for the residents. And even with the smaller building, you meet the requirements for square footage? for
yes,
parking?
they're all generous size of units. We have,
If you could show that again.
we have 612 on the one bedroom, and then, we have 1110 on the 3-bedroom units, which meet the 1,000 square feet, of the, minimum requirement.
So these are standard size in accordance with all building and fire codes?
Yes,
Okay, very good. And, in your opinion then, the development or proposal of a 3-family house is suitable and conforms to the surrounding area?
yes.
Okay. That's all I have, Madam Chair, at this time.
Okay, you said you only had one other witness.
Yes,
Please call that witness.
sure. Well, Mr. Alimi, don't switch chairs again, okay.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear affirm testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Say your full name for the record.
Sadi Alimi.
And Mr. Alimi, you are the principal, owner of the LLC, which is the applicant and property owner, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, and you have recently acquired this property with the intention to develop a 3-family.
Yes.
You have other developments and work in the city of Paterson, is that correct?
Yes, many.
And so you're familiar with construction of 3-family houses?
Yes.
Okay, in fact, you own some developments right in the surrounding area?
Correct. 2 blocks away, I actually have a development with 9 units that is going up as we speak.
Can we hear us okay, Madam Chair?
No, I couldn't hear where it's going up. I didn't hear that part.
It's on 8th Avenue, a few blocks away.
Okay,
Okay, you've got other multi-families and other residentials
Yes.
in the area?
Yes, a mix of 2, 3s, and 5 family in here.
Okay, and with respect to this site, this property would be developed for residential rental units, is that right?
That is correct.
Okay. And you would be a hands-on manager of the property?
Correct.
Okay. And your experience with dealing with security and lighting requirements in residential buildings?
Yes, that is correct. All the homes and properties that we have are very generously lit up on the outside, as well as cameras that are monitored 24/7 as well.
Okay, and I didn't mention it, but you're in full agreement with Mr. Evans' testimony today?
That is correct.
Okay. Madam Chair, that's all I have at this time.
okay. So at this time, I'm gonna open it up to the public for questions. So if there's anyone in the public that has any questions of either the owner of the property or Mr. Evans, the architect, please call in at 973-321-1579, and the meeting ID number is 711-680-001. I will allow 2 minutes for call-ins, 3 minutes for questions, not statements at this time, just questions. If you have questions of either of these 2 individuals, okay, please this is the time you would ask your questions, not make your statements. Okay, thank you. So we'll give it 2 minutes again. I'll wait 2 minutes for call-ins and give you 3 minutes to ask your question. Thank you.
Madam Chair, can you check your chat?
Who's calling me? I'm sorry, who?
Can you check
Somebody
your
talk
chat?
to
Mr. Fisher.
I'm sorry, please let the record reflect that Vice Chair Fisher is in attendance.
Thank you.
Okay.
We have no callers as of yet.
All right, so I'm gonna open it up to the commissioners while we wait. I myself have a question, but, I'm gonna open it up to the commissioners first. Commissioners, any questions of either Mr. Evans or the owner of the property?
This is Commissioner Dean, Chairwoman.
Yes, Commissioner Dean, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm referring back to the application. It is mentioned that there is a deed restriction on the property. Would you please explain?
Mr. Aquaviva, this might be the time that you can explain this, please.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Dean, you gave me a segue into this one, I was gonna wait. Basically, what Mr. Maricon is saying is correct, there's two phases to this prior, application. One was the approvals essentially mean nothing because they have lapsed. The applicant never acted on those approvals, never pulled permits, never did anything to facilitate that old approval. So that old approval, that old application is dead. What's remaining though is a deed restriction that based upon that prior approval limited the use of this property to one family. So essentially, if the board approves this application tonight, the responsibility is Mr. Maricon to file a new deed, which would essentially eliminate that prior restriction. So all the responsibility is on the applicant and any subsequent title transfers. If the board is so inclined to approve this application tonight, that would be one of the conditions that that prior deed restriction is removed.
Got it. So, Mr. Akuviba, the additional question is the restriction just on this property or the addition, like, neighbor properties as well? The must be one family.
My understanding is, and Mr. Maricon can correct me if I'm wrong, originally this was a subdivision. This was one lot, was subdivided into two lots. The other lot, it has really no bearing or no concern with this lot. This lot now stands on its own. So the deed restriction that we're dealing with applies only to this lot. Mr. Maricon, if I missed something, feel free to jump in.
Excuse me, I think Commissioner Udine is also asking, are there other three-family homes in this area? Am I correct, Commissioner?
Yes, I mean, I think Mr. Akuviba understood my question as well. That was my question, that is the restriction only for this property or maybe properties on this area as well, the same restriction that it has to be one family?
That I wouldn't know. As far as I know, this is the only deed restriction that's brought before us. Mr. Maricon, I don't know if you have any other knowledge of the surrounding lots.
Right, pursuant to the subdivision and the surrounding lots, Mr. Evans has testified for the multi-family nature of other lots in the immediate area. And as part of the subdivision, no other lot was restricted. So there frankly are not, I don't believe there are any other one-family lots in the surrounding area.
So you mean the rest of them are multi-family?
Either two or three or multi, even more.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
No problem.
Okay, thank you, Chairman, for clarifying the question, yeah.
Okay,
I'll give my question, yeah.
okay, all right, any other commissioners? All right, I have a question. I just am curious because I had a hard time looking at the plans because they were up, they were down, they were up, they were down, but I did see them. And I'm wondering why we can't just make this into a two-family structure instead of three, if the owner would consider doing that, because it looks like you got the garage in half of the bottom level, and it looks like a smaller area for living space down there. And I just was wondering if it would not be more beneficial to make it a two-family home and maybe add another parking space on somehow there. Matt, is that possible?
We could certainly look at it and consider it. If you wish, we could take a 2-minute break and consider that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure, take a 2-minute break and maybe the other commissioners might have another question. And Mr. Deutsch, we still have no call-ins?
Before you leave,
Yes.
Roman, I have an additional question.
Oh, wait, I think he just walked away.
He did? Okay. No.
When he comes back.
Yeah, let me ask Mr. Akuviba, just for understanding that. So,
Okay.
let's say are we going to have like two different approvals, one removing restrictions and another approval of the project? Or it's going to be the same one?
You're muted.
You're muted.
Repeat your question, please.
The question is, are we going to have two different voting, like one for removing restrictions, another one approval? No.
No, this is just a site plan approval. If the board does approve this application, one of the conditions will be that the applicant has to remove the deed restriction legally and, actually would record a new deed with the county clerk. That has nothing, the board would not be voting on that. The board would only be voting on the site plan approval and bulk variances.
Got you. Okay, so this is the other part. They have to take care of this part. Okay.
Yes, thank you.
All right, so, I was asking Mr. Deutsch, do we have any callers?
We do not.
Okay, so let me go back to to our commissioners. Commissioners, do you have any other questions? All right, I don't hear any, so, did you take your break already?
Not yet, so we stayed on active because there were questions ongoing, so we waited.
All right, go ahead, take your 2-minute break and talk to your client, and we'll wait, okay?
Okay, Madam Chair, we're ready to proceed.
Okay, can you put your, thank you, okay.
Okay, very good. Yes, after our discussion among ourselves, we're ready to amend this application to reduce it to a 2-family proposal, and that additional space where the small unit would be allocated either as a storage or family room area for the unit directly above. We think that's a wise decision. The original thought from my applicant was, Mr. Lindy, from his experience, knows that there's quite a bit of demand for the smaller units in that area, but we certainly understand the concern that would lead us to this amendment, and we're very happy to do so.
Okay, I personally, I'd like to see what the commissioners think, but I personally would like to see like a community room or whatever, an extra room for people downstairs rather than storage. Does any commissioners have any other suggestions on what they can do with that space? Okay, I hear none.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
unless I heard incorrectly, when you suggested that before,
I did suggest, yeah.
did you suggest that, some of it be used for an additional parking space or something like that? Additional parking?
That would be my primary thing.
Okay, I
If they
thought I
could
heard that.
somehow get another car in there, but they didn't mention that. Is that a possibility?
We don't really think that's realistic, and if we do reduce it to a 2-family, we're in full compliance with the parking requirement at 4.
Okay, it works for me, okay. So if no one else has any other suggestions about the room, then I'm gonna suggest that we make it into some sort of a community area downstairs. So they have some place to go, in the winter, and maybe, someplace, in the summer, okay?
With benefit to residents, sure.
Okay, so, all right, any other questions from any of the commissioners?
Just for clarification that, are we still going to have the 3-story building, 3 bedrooms unit, second floor, third floor, still having that, right?
Yes, that's still gonna be 3 floors, but it's not gonna be 3 families.
Yes, like first floor is not going to have a 1 family.
Nope. And therefore, the reduction in the parking allocation is different now, so they are in compliance.
Right, so I'm thinking
Are they
that,
not, Mr. Deutsch? Are they in compliance, right? Yes.
yeah, so I'm thinking that since we are going to eliminate one of the one-bedroom unit, which is mean that we are going to have one bedroom, kitchen, then a restaurant space, we have pretty much enough space for a community room.
Yes,
We
that's what I'm thinking.
We can, yeah, so I think that's what they can think about.
Yeah, that's what I would like also. I would like to see some sort of community room.
We agree.
Okay.
Madam Chair?
Yes, Commissioner Ceballos? Yes, go ahead.
Yes, this will be actually for Mr. Deutsch. Number 6, he said that because the three family require 1,650 square feet per unit. So now it's going to be reduced to 2, which is 3,300.
Approximately, yes.
Okay. No, it's 3,300, but that also they need to be rectified on number 6 because we no longer require the 4,950.
That is correct.
Right. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, hearing none, then I'm gonna ask you to summarize, Mr. Mariconta, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We appreciate the consideration and dialogue with the commissioners this evening. We think this is a very positive application to develop a site that has been vacant for quite some time. The two-family residence with the additional quality living space on the ground level, we believe will be an asset to the entire neighborhood, as well as provide obviously new needed housing in the area. We meet all parking requirements. We've got a tremendous amount of open space for a lot of this size, so we're really looking at a very minimal variance situation. I believe that this application should be considered for approval with the condition that the applicant take the necessary steps pursuant to this resolution to amend the prior deed to remove the deed restriction as a one family. Thank you.
Okay. All right, so would any commissioner like to make a motion on this application?
Madam Chair?
Yes. Commissioner Ceballos? Yes, go ahead, please.
On the application of 342 East 19th Street LLC for the property located on 340-342 East 19th Street, Black 2702, lot 24. I move that the board attorney prepare a resolution granting site plan approval for variances, the removal of the deed restriction, that would be a condition, no? And the city engineer and HEP soil conservation service will be considered at the board early convenience.
Mr. Aquaviva, were all the conditions put in there?
Yes, they were, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. All right, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by, I believe I heard Commissioner Figueroa?
Yes.
Okay, seconded by Commissioner Figueroa. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Ahmed,
Yes.
Commissioner Brooks,
Yes.
Commissioner Ceballos. Yes, but council, also, maybe I forgot to mention, it is an amended proposal because now it's not 3 family but 2 family.
I thought I heard you say that, but okay, I have it in here already as a condition.
Okay, thank you. My vote is yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Figueroa,
Yes.
Commissioner Issa,
Yes.
Commissioner Santana, Commissioner Santana,
Yes.
thank you. Commissioner Udine,
Listen, yes.
and I know Vice Chairman Fisher is here, but he cannot vote. We did not hear the application. So Chairwoman Rockwell,
Yes. Congratulations.
application is approved.
We thank you very much.
Okay, appreciate it.
Okay. Okay. Give me a moment till I find the second application. Here we go. Okay. So tonight we have another application, 190-192 Godwin Avenue LLC, block 3507, lot 13. Mr. Maricondo, are you representing them?
We are representing the applicant, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so parcel,
I just want to clarify that Mr. Fisher did not hear the testimony.
yes, we know that, he didn't vote.
He didn't vote, Commissioner. I didn't call him as a vote.
I was here for the whole time though.
Oh, you were?
Oh, you are?
He was,
Yeah, I
he
said
was
check-
here.
If you check, yeah. Check
He
the
was
chat.
here because I marked him here earlier before the
Okay, then what is your vote? Then can we do that? Can we amend the vote?
Sure we could. Sure we could. Going back to the vote, Vice Chairman Fisher, how do you vote?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry, just for clarification, that was on the application for 340-342 East 19th Street LLC for the property located at 340-342 East 19th Street, block 2702, lot 24. Madam Chair, you can proceed with the next application.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so, the 190-192 Godwin Avenue LLC, block 3507, lot 13. The parcel contains an existing 3-story, 3-unit dwelling and a rear building that contains 2 studio apartments. The rear building has been constructed and/or converted without obtaining permits. The applicants seek approval for the 2-story units to remain. The parcel has an area of 2,550 square feet. This proposal is within the RA-2 zone of the 4th Ward redevelopment plan. Variances are requested for the following. Lot area as 5,000 square feet is required and 2,550 square feet is existing. Lot width as minimum lot width of 50 feet is required and a lot width of 25 feet is existing. One side yard setback is a minimum of 5 feet is required and 0 feet is provided. Rear yard setback is a minimum of 20 feet is required and 5 feet is proposed. An open space amenity area as 1,200 square foot is required and 500 square feet is proposed. It requires site plan approval and bulk variances. Okay, so Mr. Deutsch, can you give us your review, please?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chairwoman. Property taxes and sewer charges are current. First is holding a 10% or greater ownership interest in 190-192 Godwin Avenue LLC, or Ramon Perez, providing an address of 23 East 37th Street, Paterson, New Jersey. As indicated in the property survey prepared by J.P. Maselli Surveying and dated June 28, 2019, Lot 13, Block 3507 has frontage of 25 feet on Godwin Avenue, a rear lot line that measures 27 feet, and eastern and western side lot lines that measure 100 feet each. A 1-story masonry garage building shares the parcel's western side property line. A 3-story former mill building converted to residential use as an access driveway on the eastern side of the applicant's property. Parcel's area of 2,550 square feet or 0.06 acres. Godwin Street is a one-way street in a westerly direction. Evans Architect has prepared a 2-page architectural submittal revised on February 20th, 2020. Drawing S1 is the site plan. The concrete sidewalk detail, the zoning ordinance data, the site plan, and the 200-foot radius tax map are shown. The plans and letters of intent and impact indicate that the existing structure at the front of the parcel is a 2-family dwelling of 3 stories. The property record card from the tax assessor indicates that this is a 3-family structure in average condition. The site plan indicates that the rear 2-story, 2-unit masonry building has approximate dimensions of 16 feet 6 inches in width and 24 feet 6 inches in length. The distance between the 2 buildings on the site is approximately 7 feet, and a frame deck and steps exist between the 2 structures. There's a distance of 5.22 feet from the rear structure to the rear property line, 9.95 feet to the eastern side property line, and the structure is adjacent to the western side property line. Drawing SK1 indicates floor plans and the elevations for the rear 2-unit structure. The first floor plan and second floor plan are identical. Each studio unit contains a living room and dining room area, a kitchen area, and a full bathroom. Each studio unit contains 404 square feet of area. The entrance to the first floor unit is located on the eastern side of the building along the paved area between the structure and the property line. The entrance to the second floor unit is obtained from a staircase located at the rear of the building. The applicant should verify if this staircase is proposed or existing, as it may not appear correctly on the site plan. The right side elevation is located along the shared property line to the west. This side of the building is vinyl sided with no windows. The left side elevation is along the paved area and indicates the access door to the first unit, the staircase to the second floor unit, and 2 windows on both the first and second floors. The rear elevation indicates a window on the first floor and a staircase to the second floor unit. The front elevation indicates no windows and is vinyl sided. The rear 2-unit building has a pitched roof and indicates a top height of 22 feet. The applicant requests variances for the following conditions for the existing 3-unit dwelling and the existing 2-unit rear structure. The lot area is 5,000 square feet is required and 2,450 square feet is existing. Lot width, as a minimum lot width of 50 feet is required, and a lot width of 25 feet is existing. 1 side yard setback as a minimum of 5 feet is required and 0 feet is provided. Rear yard setback as a minimum of 20 feet is required and 5 feet is existing. Maximum building coverage is 60% building coverage is permitted and 63% building coverage is existing. Impervious lot coverage is 80% lot coverage is permitted and 100% lot coverage is existing, and open space amenity areas as 900 square feet is required and 500 square feet is proposed. The open space area is mainly on the eastern side of the dwelling on a 6-foot to 9-foot wide paved area running the length of the property. Although parking is not a requirement in the redevelopment area on lots with a width of 25 feet or less, the board may wish to consider that this rear 2-unit building was constructed prior to obtaining building permits or site plan approval. As this is a redevelopment area, the planning board must determine whether the granting of the requested variances to allow the number of dwelling units constructed by the applicant is appropriate for the lot and the immediate surrounding area. Residential apartment construction is permitted within the redevelopment area. A mixture of different types of residential units is encouraged. The planning board should determine whether the land area of this parcel is suitable for the number and type of apartment units existing. It shall be the responsibility of the applicant or the preparer of the plan to obtain a letter from the city engineer indicating the plans have been satisfactorily reviewed prior to the plans being released to the construction official. Surrounding land use. This proposal is located in the Wrigley Park section of the city within the 4th Ward redevelopment plan. The area is zoned residential with neighborhood commercial areas located at some corner intersections. In conclusion, the applicant estimates the cost of this proposal at approximately $100,000. That is your staff review for this proposal, Madam Chairwoman.
Thank you. Mr. Maricondo?
Yes, good evening, Madam Chair. Alan Maricondo on behalf of the applicant. We're here with Mr. Evans and the applicant as well. My clients recently acquired this property, and as Mr. Deutsch accurately indicates, there's an existing 3-unit residential dwelling in the front area. The rear structure was commercial in nature at some point. We're not quite sure the old history of it, but we're looking to utilize it for the benefit of the owner and proposed tenancies to create small units back there which are in great demand in the redevelopment zone of the 4th Ward. This board has reviewed multiple applications, of course, in the 4th Ward Godwin Avenue area, and so this would make a total of 5 units on the site. And we believe that this applicant is doing quite a bit of work to upgrade this home, and that these would be suitable residential uses in that regard. This time I'll call Mr. Evans as the architect planner.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Please state your full name for the record.
Matthew Evans, architect planner, 470 Chamberlain Ave, Paterson, New Jersey.
For the record, Madam Chair, I'd like to.
Yes, I'm sorry, yes, we accept him as an expert witness, sorry, the mic was off, sorry.
Not a problem.
Please
Mr. Evans-
continue.
Sure, Mr. Evans, you had an opportunity to hear Mr. Deutsch's report, is that correct?
Yes.
With respect to this site, could you give us an overview and its area location?
Okay, I'm gonna share my, drawing here. So we have, the first sheet S1, show the survey, zoning ordinance data, we have the site location plan, and as mentioned before, it's in the RA2 zone. It's a redevelopment zone that permits multiple families on smaller lots. And the existing 3-story frame structure in the front of the property would remain with the addition of the 2-story structure as built in the rear. So the plan showing the first floor plan, looking at that, we have a unit, it's an efficiency unit, it's 400 square feet, it's a small unit, has a nice area to it, and it has bathroom, kitchen, living dining area, sleeping area, and then there's the outside stair that brings you to the second floor, where we have another identical efficiency unit in the above. So that's the same layout condition on the structure. So we can see the siding and roofing and that one stair that's for the second unit above.
And those are comparable units in size and design?
Yes.
Okay, so they both would reflect that housing availability for at most 2 people, but very likely 1 person per unit?
Yes.
Okay, and again, I pointed out that in the RA2 section of the redevelopment zone, this lot size of approximately 2,500 is fairly typical of a lot of lots?
Well, 27, this is a little bigger,
Little bigger.
2,700, and it's suited for this type of, this density is comparable with density in the area.
So then, a total of 5 units on the site, in your estimation from a planning perspective, is comparable to some new proposals that have been granted and some older conditions?
Yes, there's older multifamilies, new mixed use, depending on the size of the lot and the, where it's located, but it fits in with the redevelopment
Plan.
Right.
And we were able to obtain and you were able to design some open space on this site.
Yes, we have open space. We need a small variance for the open space. We're 900 is required. We have 500, and we've been looking for relief on that.
Right. Now there is some side area to the property, but that's not an actively used area along the fence of the neighboring area.
Right. It's just a walkway. Basically, you can access the back of the property. It's not enough to be a driveway, but it's comfortable enough to be a pathway.
Right. So the residents could use that area as a transit area, and perhaps they could sit out there on a lawn chair or whatever as well.
Yes.
Okay. The other variances in your estimation, building coverage of a lot is very minimal. It's 3% over.
Right. So it's inconsistent with the requirements of the RA2.
Right. And a couple setback variances in your estimation, do they create any negative impact on any surrounding neighbors?
No, they're no negatively. You have the big industrial building next door that was converted to apartments, and some similar type of structures. Really, with zoom in here a little bit, and you can see this 1-story masonry building here. Garages. It's basically 0 lot line condition. Our structure on the right is a 0 lot line condition. We don't have any windows on the side. We have them on the rear and front and the left side.
And those are not parking garages, so we're not taking away any parking. That was a commercial garage of some sort. storage or whatever back there originally, I suppose?
I'm not sure.
Okay, but it clearly was not, there's no access to park back there.
No, it's only 6 feet.
Right.
To the property line.
Right, so I just wanted to point out that we're not taking away parking.
Right.
Okay, right. And you said there's a multifamily directly adjoining to us?
Yeah, the Godwin, I think it's called the Godwin Apartments on the left. It's a large industrial building which converted about 20 years ago
Okay.
to residential. So we have basically a large parking area next to us.
Okay. And we're adjoining to other residential units on the other side? Well, if you know.
No, it's showing garages here. I don't think it's the residential.
Okay. But the area is primarily residential?
It's just basically garages.
Okay. Okay. All right, and in your estimation then, the number of units 5 is in accordance with prior approvals for this lot size?
Yes.
And you feel it's in keeping with the spirit and intent of the redevelopment plan?
Yes.
Okay, then whatever new construction design has already taken place, obviously is subject to building department review, fire department review, obviously this board's condition. So although there was from a prior ownership some construction done there, those units only are valid good units if they pass all the criteria of the city code requirements. Is that right?
Right.
Okay, so this board's approval would be a step, and then there would have to be other steps for those studio units to be occupied. Is that right?
Yeah, and I think it's comfortable to say that it would meet all the codes.
And then with respect to studio units, in your estimation, is there a demand for those units in that area?
Oh yeah, there's a demand. I mean, the apartments next door are mostly larger apartments, and this area really doesn't have a lot of smaller units in this along this block.
Okay, that's all I have of Mr. Evans at this time, Madam Chair.
I'm gonna ask you to call your next witness, but I just have a question. You said that your clients recently purchased this property.
Correct.
So who then constructed the 2 areas in the back and didn't have permits?
Right, I'm gonna let them discuss that, if I could, on the record, Madam Chair.
Okay.
Okay,
Alright, so then call them, that's fine.
great. Okay, we call Liliana as the witness.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear affirm testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Yes.
State your full name. We're taking one at a time. State your full name.
Liliana is the only witness that I'm calling.
State your name,
Put
ma'am.
your hand down.
Liliana Valdez.
¿Cómo?
Liliana Valdez.
Okay, for the record, Mr. Perez, you can put your hand down. Okay, we'll be calling just Ms. Velez. Ms. Velez, your family are the principals of 190, 192 Godwin, and are the current owners of the property, is that right?
Yes.
Yes. And as such, you're fully familiar with this property. Could you give us just a rundown about when your family got involved with this property?
¿Quieres saber cuándo tú te involucraste con la propiedad?
You're not acting as an interpreter, you're acting as a witness, okay?
Okay.
You need to tell us that you're speaking on your own behalf, if you don't mind. I didn't mean to interrupt you, okay?
Okay, it was basically around 2008, that, the property, along with, the prior, property owner, he acquired, the property. But then it was recently transferred to his name, in 2000, I believe, 2019, or 2019, I believe so. But he has been, he's my uncle, actually, the owner, the current owner. He has been, with this property since about 2008.
Right, so we acquired it from the LLC, as part of the LLC. What was the condition of the property when your family acquired it? In the back?
La policía viene por It was basically a vacant, destroyed. It had to be reconstructed completely from scratch. It was acquired for about $20,000 at the time, and it was reconstructed entirely.
So your family reconstructed the front building as well?
Yes.
So obviously the front building, as we can see it on Mr. Evans may have to put up an exhibit again, but the front of the building is, all the interior is all redone, modern, up to code, is that right?
Yes.
And I'm gonna ask Mr. Brad to please refrain from speaking, okay? Would you mention that? Okay, with respect to, the rear building, at that time, when you took it upon yourself, your family, to fix up the building, you went ahead and you guys did that studio units back there?
Yes.
Okay, so you did not realize that needed permits, or you didn't get those permits at that time?
That's correct.
Keep your voice up.
Okay, correct.
That is correct. So obviously then you came to Mr. Evans, and we worked with with my office to come here and seek the approvals for those 2 units, okay? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So you're in agreement with all the testimony of Mr. Evans on your behalf?
Yes.
Okay. That's all I have, Madam Chair.
You're on mute. You're on mute, Chairwoman.
You're on mute.
Sorry. Okay, I'm gonna bring this out to the public, okay? If anyone has any questions of either, Mr. Evans or the owners of the property, it's for questions only, please call in at 973-321-1579, and the meeting ID number is 711-680-001. Okay, again, 973-321-1579, and the meeting ID is 711-680-001. And this is for questions only of either the architect or the property owners. And while we're waiting to see if anyone is calling, do we have any callers that you know of, Mr. Deutsch, at this time?
No callers.
At this time, okay, so
At this
while
time.
we're waiting, I'll give two minutes for call-ins and 3 minutes for questions, but until we hear from someone from the public, I'm gonna open it up to the commissioners. Commissioners, any questions? Yes, was that Commissioner Dean? No?
Yes,
Yes, okay.
the owner.
Okay, go ahead.
So, do we have permit for the 3-unit building?
Yes.
Yeah, do. Yeah, go ahead, yes.
Yes, there are permits for the 3 units, yes.
Yeah,
So-
the collection report decided that the permit problem was only in the rear.
So, when did you build the 3-unit building?
When it was around 2008.
2008. And what about the studios? When did you build
This
this?
was in, if I'm not mistaken, 2019. 2019, yes.
Very recent.
Mhm.
That's all my question to you. Thank you.
All right, let me just ask you, so were you under the assumption that when you had the permits for the original building, that that would also allow you to build these units in the back?
Well, it was a garage before, so there was a garage there. We weren't really aware that it was something
Okay.
else.
Was needed, okay, I just wanted to know if it was just an oversight on your part, okay. All right, so commissioners? No questions, commissioners?
Not at this time.
Okay, well, we're gonna be winding it up if there's no if there's no other questions, we're gonna be winding it up. So if anybody has any questions, please speak up now.
Yeah, Chairwoman, I'm just thinking, and it's not just, I don't know if it's a question or not. So, they knew that when they built this studio, they knew that this is illegal to build without permission. I believe the owner is concerned about it.
So we understand that we're acknowledging that that was a mistake in judgment. We're before the board seeking the approval to remedy that problem. And I know Mr. Aquavino would agree with me that, under the applicable Land Use Act and the case law that's pretty voluminous, the applicant is to be judged on the merits of the presentation, and any prior miscalculations or misjudgments about permits is not to be in any way indicative of evidence against the application. I believe that's true.
My point is that, for example, if we approve this application tonight, are they going to get permit if we accept this application?
The idea would be that if the board would allow us to get approval tonight, they would have to go through the entire process with the building department. The building department inspectors from all divisions and departments, electrical, plumbing, general contracting, construction, fire, everybody would have to do their reviews as if this was brand new construction. So this applicant would be placed in no better position than anyone else that's seeking to build new construction. And in fact, if there's anything that doesn't meet the code requirement as per its current design, they would have to go back and start from scratch, so to speak, and remedy anything that the building department required them to do.
All right, I'm going to opposite direction. If we do not accept this application, let's say the studios tonight, can they get permit?
No, they would have to immediately disassemble these units. They would not be, they could not be occupied, and they would be subject to violation if they did not.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Aquavino agrees with me.
Thank you for the clarification.
Yeah, my only question, Mr. Maricom, is right now, what is the property being used for?
These are vacant structures that you're doing it for design, but not occupied.
So that was my question. It's completely vacant at this point.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
This is Commissioner Figueroa. I'm gonna go ahead.
Yes, please go ahead.
Devil's advocate, if you will, if you would permit me. It's not so
Yes,
much
please go ahead.
more than feedback, which is happening with the onset of COVID, and there's a lot of misinformation. I had someone literally not even 2 weeks ago reach out to me and for advice, and this was my uncle, and he's in Florida, nowhere here, but he literally thought with COVID, a lot of people have misconstrued information that he said, I did work, I assumed that, once COVID restrictions were lifted, I could then apply for permits and such. So, we have to think of that too. With COVID, some individuals may assume that, there was a hold or no processing on the applications for permits.
We have to say that we won't rely upon any loosening of restrictions by virtue of the pandemic. We don't want to give the board. I understand your point, Commissioner, and that's true. I have heard that in my office.
Just wanted to bring that up.
Yeah, no, you're right, but it's not the particular circumstance of this case.
No.
Anecdotally, I've heard that many times lately.
Because this, quite honestly, happened back when in 2000, it was before that, so this actually happened before that. I can also understand if they had permits for the property in the front, they might have just thought there was a garage there and they didn't need the permits, it was all part of the same property, but unfortunately you do need the permits. I mean, we've had this happen once or twice before, but I can understand where there could be some misunderstanding here. All right, any other questions by any other commissioners at this time?
I don't have a question. I just like to say that it's good that they came now to get the permit so that at least it will be legal and they won't have any other future problems. And plus, with us, if we approve it tonight, they'll be able to get the permits.
Correct.
Right, I agree, Commissioner Brooks. It's better to be legal than non-legal, obviously. So anybody else want to make a comment or a question about this application? Okay, I don't hear any other questions. So I think at this time I'm going to ask Mr. Maricon, and do we have any call-ins? Let me go back to that. Do we have any?
No.
No, okay. So then I'm gonna ask Mr. Maricona to summarize, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We appreciate the board hearing us. This application, I think is very straightforward, on its face, and the testimony is clear. The applicant is coming before you in an attempt to remedy a problem and hopefully provide very small, low-impact housing in an area which has many 5-unit buildings on similar or even smaller lot sizes, as per Mr. Evans' testimony. And they have done the right thing. They went to the architect, they went to the attorney, they've taken the steps also to bring this application forward, and we would ask the board's consideration. The front building is extremely well done, and we trust that once this board, if it were to grant approval, they would comply with all building department requirements, and those units would be very much similar to that front building, which, as per the testimony, was in very poor condition, when going back 10, 15 years. So we've definitely improved the site, and we'd like to improve it more as well at this time. Thank you very much.
Okay. All right, thank you. Okay, with that all being said, okay, would any commissioner like to make a motion on this application?
I'd like to enter the motion.
Yes, Commissioner Figueroa, please go ahead.
1 second, let me get myself, I lost my.
I know, I lost mine too, but we'll wait.
Thank you for your patience. Okay, the application of 190-192 Godwin Avenue LLC, located at property address 190-192 Godwin Avenue, block 3507, lot 13. I move that the board attorney prepare a resolution citing, approving, site plan approval, bulk variances, city engineer, HEP Soil Conservation District, subject to those variances.
Mr. Aquaviva, is there anything to add to that?
I don't believe so. I didn't hear any conditions, Madam Chair.
Okay, all right. So, then I guess that being said, do I have a second?
Second, Commissioner Santana?
Yes, Commissioner Santana, second. A roll call, please, Mr. Aquaviva.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Commissioner Ahmed?
It's really hard for me to decide, but after listening to Commissioner Brooks and Commissioner Figueroa, my vote is yes. At least they came for the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Brooks?
Yes.
Commissioner Ceballos? Commissioner Ceballos?
Commissioner Ceballos?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Figueroa?
Yes.
Commissioner Issa?
Yes.
Commissioner Santana?
Yes.
Commissioner Dean?
Saying yes.
Vice Chairman Fisher?
Yes.
And Chairwoman Northrop?
Yes. Congratulations.
We thank you for your approval.
Okay. Now, commissioners, thank you, commissioners, I just wanted to, say we have, just stick around please, because we have some, resolutions, in fact, quite a few that have to be done. This is our last meeting.
We do, Madam Chair. We do, Madam Chair,
Yep.
but, before we get to that, there's a matter I have to, bring before the board.
Yes. Okay, but before you even do that, I have one thing that I would like to say. This happens to be, Commissioner Issa's last meeting. He's coming off the board, and I just want to say that I wish him nothing but good luck in all his future endeavors. I'm sure I speak for the whole board when I say that. He's been an asset to this board, and he's been a contributor to this board, and we're gonna miss that. So I wish Commissioner Issa lots of luck going forward. And thank you for all you've done on this board. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Commissioner.
Mr. Issa. God,
Yeah.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate
You're
that.
gonna be missed. You're gonna be missed. So now I'll let.
I'll second it.
Right, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna let, Mr. Aquaviva, okay, he has another matter that we have to discuss real quickly, and then we're gonna do the resolutions. Go ahead, Mr.
Thank you, thank you.
Excuse me, Mr. Aquaviva, I think we still have the applicant signed on. Should they sign
Yeah, the
off?
applicants, you guys can sign off, your application has been approved, you're good to go, okay?
Well, not until the
No,
resolution is.
they gotta talk to their attorney. Yeah.
Thank you, good evening.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, Madam Chair, thank you. Back on May 17th, we heard an application for Dingman's Dairy for property located at 82-84 Maryland Avenue. If you recall, Chairwoman Northwood called for a motion for approval. There was none. There then was, Madam Chair called for a motion for denial. A motion for denial was brought before the board. It was seconded, but did not pass because there was a 2-2 and 2 abstentions on that vote. My decision was that because the board did not act within 60 days, the application was essentially a statutory approval. Going back and researching this matter, the definition of acting on an application is actually not the vote, but the board actually hearing the application. So the board did in fact act. So what we were left with, if this was a criminal trial, would be left with a hung jury. So essentially, after researching this, what I am basically recommending to the board is that there be a new vote taken on this application, which would be brought at a later date, hopefully Mr. Deutsch at our next meeting, which would be the reorganization meeting. And I would strongly encourage the board to vote in the majority either on a motion for approval or a motion for denial, so that at least we have a definitive decision by the board moving forward. Whatever the applicant decides to do, if it's a denial in terms of an appeal, well, that will be left to them. Whatever the objectors would be left to do if there was an approval, well, that would be left to them. But my recommendation is that the board, again, not rehear this matter, simply take another vote. I'm advising the board, quite frankly, or informing the board that if the exact same result happens, it will in fact be a statutory approval. There will be no doubt about it. But taking another vote, my suggestion is that the board take a good look at the application again, what was testified to, and vote either yes or no on whatever motion that is made, and possibly refrain from abstentions. So, Mike, I think we can get this on for the reorganization meeting. It shouldn't take more than 5 or 10 minutes at most. It's just calling for a vote.
I have a question to you.
Yes, Commissioner Brooks.
How do you do that if you're going now towards a new reorganization? You're not going to have the same people that heard it the first time. So
well,
how do you do that?
If we don't, then any new member would have to read the transcript.
Okay.
So if we have the same 6 members on this board at the next meeting, there's no need for it. But if there are any of the 6 commissioners that voted who will not be on this board after the next reorganization meeting, then obviously the vote will have to be put off until the following meeting, and any new member would then have to read the transcript from the application.
And what you're saying is that it was 2 votes no and 2 votes. There was 6 votes altogether. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, Commissioner Brooks. 2 yes, 2 no, and 2 abstentions.
I see. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so should we begin with the resolution? I think everybody understands their homework. Should we begin with the resolutions?
Yep, I'm sorry about that. I lost you for a second, Madam Chair.
No, I said I think everybody's got their homework. They know what they have to do. Reconsider what we discussed at that meeting that night and make a decision. So with that said, let's just move forward. We'll do the resolutions now. Go ahead, Al. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. On the application of Sandra Express Shipping LLC.
Al,
Yes.
you didn't give me that one, Al.
You didn't?
No.
Yeah, you did. It's in the email you sent to me.
You never returned it to me.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one, I apologize. Let me get back to this agenda, I'm sorry.
This is what happens when you have too many resolutions.
It's only 8. Not 11, 8.
I'm sorry, yep, I was on the wrong email, you are absolutely correct. And we're off on, I'm getting there. Okay. On the application of JCM Investors 1012 LLC, unless, Michael, do you want to go in a different order? I'm just going by the order that you gave me.
67 Market Street, JCN?
No, this is 36 Auburn and 27 Godwin.
Alright, let me get that. We'll go with your order.
I can go in your order. Just give me the order that you want. Not when you go in.
JCM 67 Market Street.
Okay, let me find that one now.
What was it, JCN? You got frozen there for a minute.
Okay, 60, I have it.
Okay, go ahead.
On the application of JCM Investors 1012 LLC for the property located at 67 Market Street, Block 4608, Lot 14. The property being located in the Great Falls Historic District. The applicant was seeking site plan approval and bulk variances on a 2,313 square foot lot to construct a new 3-story commercial and residential building with commercial space and residential space. The board considered this matter at its April 12, 2021 special meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Santana. Roll call.
I can do the roll call. Al, you want me to do the roll call?
You've been doing them for all the meetings, like I don't have the commissioner list.
Okay. Commissioner Ahmed.
Yeah, how much we miss you, Maggie?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, Commissioner Brooks. Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Commissioner Figueroa.
Yes.
Commissioner Santana.
Yes.
And Chairperson Northrup.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Next.
BCB acquisition line.
Okay. On the application of BCB Acquisition Line LLC for the property located at 171-181 Market Street, Block 4406, Lot 7. The property being located in the B4 Central Business District, Downtown Commercial Historic District Overlay. The applicant was seeking site plan approval and bulk variances to develop a total of 48 new apartments on the second and fourth floors of the existing building, which has a lot size of 12,487 square feet, and retail spaces on the first floor to remain, and 3 floors of office space above. The application heard this, the applicant amended the application on the record, removing 8 storage units on the lower level, and a recreation room would be constructed in its place. The board considered and approved this matter at its May 3rd, 2021 special meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Santana. Roll call.
Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Commissioner Savalas.
Commissioner Ceballos? We'll come back to you.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, there we go.
Commissioner Fisher.
Yes, yes.
Commissioner Figueroa.
And yes.
Okay, thank you.
Next.
Avalon Property Construction LLC.
Okay, on the application of Avalon Property Construction LLC, for the property located at 164-168 Atlantic Street, Block 5402, Lot 10. The property being located in the R3 High Medium Density Residential District. The applicant sought site plan approval of both variances to construct a 3-story, 12-unit residential building on a vacant lot. The board heard, considered, and approved this application at its May 3rd, 2021 special meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second. Second by Commissioner Cevallos.
Commissioner Figueroa,
Yes.
Commissioner Fisher,
Yes.
Commissioner Santana.
Yes.
I cannot call Commissioner Brooks. He had voted no on this previously. Commissioner Northrup
Yes.
and Commissioner Savalas.
Yes.
Okay. Al, did I call Commissioner Brooks? But you voted no previously. What's the protocol?
You can't call it.
Paterson Qualified Opportunity Zone LLC.
On the application of Paterson Qualified Opportunity Zone LLC for the property located at 158-160 Hamilton Avenue, Block 3612, Lot 5. The property being located in the RA2 zone of the 4th Ward redevelopment plan. The applicant sought site plan approval on both variances to construct a new 5-story residential building with a total of 20 units. The board considered and approved this application at its,
Al?
yes.
Al, this was a motion for denial.
Oh, right. The board considered and actually denied this application at its May 5th, 2021 regular meeting. Do I have a motion?
The persons that voted yes on denial was Commissioner Brooks, Fisher, Figueroa, Santana, and Udine.
So moved.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Brooks. Motion made by Commissioner Santana. Roll call.
Commissioner Fisher.
Yeah.
Okay. Commissioner Figueroa.
Yes.
Commissioner Udine.
Yes.
Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Commissioner Santana.
Yes.
All right, so the motion for denial passes. Or the resolution, rather. Community Asset Preservation Corporation. What's so funny?
I don't know, it's just been a long year.
On the application of Community Asset Preservation Corporation for the property located at 50 Spruce Street, Block 4802, Lot 20. The property being located in the Great Falls Historic District, Adaptive Reuse and Infill District. The applicant sought site plan approval on both variances to undertake a complete interior and exterior restoration and adopted reuse of a vacant commercial building that had a prior use for storage. The board considered and approved this application at its May 10th, 2021 special meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Dean.
Commissioner Udine, you're not present at that meeting.
Okay, Commissioner Figueroa was the third in line there, so Commissioner Figueroa made the motion, made the second. So, roll call, please.
Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Commissioner Savalos. Commissioner Savalos. I'll go back. Commissioner.
Yes.
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 Commissioner Santana.
Yes.
Commissioner Figueroa.
Yes.
And Chairperson Northrup.
Yes.
Okay, the memorializing resolution passes. CPC Affiliates, LLC.
For the, on the application of CPC Affiliates LLC for the property located at 38-40 and 42 Chauncey Street, Block 4607, lots 11 and 12. The property being located in the medium-density mixed-use district of the Great Falls Historic District and the Great Falls redevelopment plan and all amendments thereof. The applicant sought site plan approval on both variances on a vacant lot to construct a 4-story mixed-use building. The board considered and approved this application at its May 10th, 2021 special meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Dean?
Comment for said first.
Excuse me, Commissioner Dean was not present at that meeting.
Okay, sorry.
2 times
Do I have a second?
Second by Commissioner Ahmed.
Commissioner Ahmed?
No, Commissioner Ahmed also is not present.
Second by Commissioner Figueroa.
Okay, Commissioner Figueroa makes the second.
Okay, good. Okay.
Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Commissioner Savalos.
Yes.
And Commissioner Santana.
Yes.
Commissioner Figueroa.
Yes.
And Chairperson Northrup.
Yes.
The memorializing resolution is adopted. EC Properties Holdings.
On the application of EC Properties Holdings LLC for the property located at 43 Cedar Street, Block 6111, Lot 16. The property being located in the RA2 zone of the 5th Ward redevelopment plan. The applicant sought site plan approval on both variances on a vacant lot, proposing to construct a new 3-story residential 2-unit building. The board considered and approved this application at its May 5th, 2021 regular meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Do I have a second? Commissioner Brooks?
Commissioner Brooks was not present at this meeting.
Okay.
Commissioner Dean,
Commissioner Udine was present. He can
Yes.
second it.
Commissioner Dean, okay.
Commissioner Fisher.
Yes.
Commissioner Figueroa.
Yes.
Commissioner Santana.
Yes.
Commissioner Udine.
yes.
Chairperson Northrup.
Yes.
Okay, last one. JCM Investors, 27 Godwin and 36 Auburn.
On the application of JCM Investors 1012 LLC for the property located at 36 Auburn Street and 27 Godwin Avenue, Block 3605, lots 17 and 18. The property being located in the RA2 zone of the 4th Ward redevelopment plan. The applicant sought site plan approval on both variances on the combined vacant lots to construct a new 3-story residential building with a total of 6 units. The board considered and approved this application at its April 12, 2021 special meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner yes, Commissioner Ceballos, second.
We're not present at that meeting, Commissioner.
Okay, do I have a second? Somebody else?
That's it.
Second by Commissioner Santana. Okay,
Okay,
roll call, please.
Commissioner Ahmed,
Yes.
Commissioner Figueroa,
Yes.
Commissioner Santana,
Yes.
and Chairperson Northrup.
Yes.
That's the last of them. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And with that, okay, our next meeting is the reorganization meeting, which will be held in City Hall on July 7th at 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock, folks, okay? So with that, I wish everyone a good evening. And again, Issa, good luck to you. Commissioner Issa.
Thank you, everyone, for a very successful and busy year.
Yes, it has been. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Good night, and see you on the 7th.
Stay safe.
Good night, everyone.
Okay, good night, everyone.
Good night.